This is all about answering some of the questions that you guys text back in or emailed back in over the last couple of weeks, wanting to know what are the secrets to building a sustainable, healthy, amazing six-figure business in the insurance business while doing it with honesty, integrity, ethics, and still have your nights and weekends available to you. So if you're ready to learn that type of stuff, give me a big round as we kind of get started here with first and foremost, Wendy, you're first on my screen, so I'm going to just come straight to you. We're going to dive straight into some Q&A based on questions they've asked. I've got some questions I'm going to ask of you. They are giving up their time. They are giving up calendar time for you. So I expect that you've got a notepad out, you got a pen out, and you're going to listen to what these people have to say because they're in the field doing it every single day. First up, ladies and gentlemen, Wendy Hamilton.
Hey, I'm really glad to be here. My name's Wendy Hamilton. I live in Tennessee, originally from Montana. I did not ever expect to be in insurance. I spent most of my career days in banking operations, and my dad got sick with leukemia. I went home, spent 4 months with him, realized how crazy insurance was, and he had an Aflac policy at the time. And I saw him be able to give us the funds to take care of our home life while we weren't at home and we're not getting a paycheck. So that hit me pretty hard. And the last week that he was alive, he said, Wendy, you should just quit your job and get your insurance license. And 6 months later, that's exactly what I did. So that's my story.
Thank you, Wendy. Do you want to pass the ball to one of your fellow Barcelona 5 here?
Yes, Becky.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Becky Pemble, and I live in central Wisconsin. I pretty much found insurance day one out of college, started as a carrier rep with Aflac, and pretty much grew up in the Aflac world. Spent a lot of time in the carrier world, brought my husband into the industry 5 years after I was in. So we've worked side by side collectively with both of us. Our 10 years just short of 50 years. If you would have asked me years ago if I'd ever be a broker, honestly, I hated brokers. Really, I did. But now being on this side of the coin, being a broker for almost, I guess, I've been on Zach's journey with the benefit doctor for 6 years, but part of our brokerage for 5. I wish I would have just done it sooner. There's such a huge, huge world of opportunity in front of us. And you get a different level of respect as a broker versus a carrier rep. And it's been an amazing, amazing ride for both me and my husband. It's nice to see all your faces and meet all of you.
Becky, toss that ball on over to Chelsea.
Chelsea, I'm throwing it over to you.
Thanks, Becky.
Sure.
Hey guys, I have been in the insurance industry 5 years. I've started out with Aflac, and I actually was trained by my district coordinator in Aflac through the ninja sales model. So I didn't pick up a ton of bad habits, but we're all guilty of getting some every once in a while. But been on the journey for 5 years, had a beautiful, beautiful start in the Aflac industry, became a broker with another agency back in 2021. Did not fit the way I like to serve my clients. And then Zach and I went back and forth a couple times. He'll tell you a different version of that story. Timing is everything, and timing finally fell together. And I've been with Zach and the Benefit Doctor crew for just over a year, and it has changed everything.
Thank you, Chelsea. We haven't already figured it out, right? Each one of these amazing ladies that are with us today are part of our team over at the Benefit Doctor, and I call them the Barcelona 5 because 5 of us just got back from Barcelona. That's how sophisticated that was. One of our carriers that we do a lot of business with, their leaders conference was in April, and they took the top 25 brokers in the United States and the top 3 agencies in the United States, and 28 of us jumped on a plane, flew over to Barcelona to celebrate for a week. And it just so happens that the Benefit Doctor had 5 of the 28 qualifiers with us, which is insane considering we didn't even have a single policy on the books with them just a couple of years ago. So that's something we take an awful lot of pride in. So I want you to kind of understand the setup of what I just told you there. We didn't have a policy on the books a couple of years ago, and yet each person standing before you, not including their Aflac renewals, not including anything they did in their previous life, each one of these ladies are earning a 6-figure income from their current book of business with being a broker through BenDoc. What does that mean to you? Like, what does that mean to you? It means in the last 24 months, they've kind of went from zero to hero, or maybe 30 months for some of them. That all being said, we're going to kind of open up and again, share flat out the playbook. And here's something else you probably need to know about Wendy, Chelsea, Becky, Jamie, all the rest of the Benefit Doctor crew. Would anybody like to take a wild guess what our sales book, what our playbook, what our sales Bible is, for lack of a better word?
The 8 Secrets.
Does that book look familiar to anybody else on this call?
Mhm.
It is the exact same book with the exact same content, with the exact same videos that all of you now have access to on YouTube for free. I want to kick this thing off with first things first. First things first, if you're looking for today to be nothing more than the cheat codes or the how do I get rich quick or how do I make this easy, then you're on the wrong webinar at the wrong time. And I would suggest you save yourself the next 45 minutes and just log off now, because that ain't how it works. If you're here because you want to learn how to truly take the hard work you're already doing, let me be clear about this. If you're inside of the 8 Secrets, if you're studying that content on YouTube, does it make it easier in the insurance business? Yeah. It's the epitome of working smarter, not just harder. Is it still hard work?
Mhm. Yeah.
We got work to do here. But if you will study and implement this content, and I'm going to kind of give away some of the farm here, but I think you're going to find a recurring theme with Wendy and Becky and Chelsea and Jamie and Zach and Brian and tons of other people that I can sit here and name. And the common denominator is their hard work plus the 8 Secrets framework. One will not be as powerful without the other. There's a lot of you on this call right now, and there's others that will be watching this call in the future on YouTube or other places that are absolutely working hard on your business right now, and you're finding a level of success. I don't want to cheat that. But you're here because you want to learn how to take that hard work and amplify it. If I'm right, give me a thumbs up. All right. So then, Becky, I'm going to start with you because 48 years. You came into this business right outside of college. How you managed to take your mindset as a single carrier rep for 20-something, 24 years, 25 years, I think it was, and evolve in the last 4 or 5 years into the new Becky and Jamie Pimble with the new outcome you can provide. Man, talk to me about your mindset shift. How did you go from carrier rep to broker? Break that down for us.
Well, I think for years, and I'd say probably the last 5 to 7 years, we constantly were going into our accounts and they're like, okay, that's great. You can help me on the supplemental, but what about the health? What about the dental? What about this? I was constantly having to refer that out to brokers. And at the end of the day, I don't know, I wasn't being brought much back from the brokers, but I was giving them a lot. And I think the further and further along I got, and as Zach came into my social media world and I learned his training War Profit, and then I learned his 8 Secret Masterclass, and then eventually into the Benefit Doctor, there was so much more value I could bring to my clients versus just being a carrier rep. I grew up in the carrier rep world and I was taught to sell a product and a price. Product and a price. Well, guess what? When someone else comes with a better product or quote a better price, you're kind of out the door. And so it finally just kind of kicked in that moving over to a broker was the natural progression for both me and my husband. The respect that you get from employees and the respect that you get from decision makers is significantly different. Most employers' pain point is not their supplemental product. Let's be real. It's usually not a pain point for them. Their pain point is their health plan. And when we're coming in as a broker, maybe at the end of the day, we only bring, and if you guys have been following Zach long enough, a foundation solution, but the foundation eventually leads to the walls and the roof. And when you become the roof broker of record, you control the entire case. You truly, truly control the entire case. And Zach teaches us, I guess, any of you that have been in the business long enough, brokers forget about the foundation, what we view as the foundation. I had so much success going into my clients that they've known me, they've liked me, they've trusted me for years, and saying, you know, I've made a change, or I'm gradually making this change. I'm not just a carrier rep anymore. I'm a broker. I'd love to have a conversation with you about your health. Would you be open to that? And time and time again, because they already know, like me, and trust me, they've been open to saying, sure, I'll have a conversation. And now I'm bringing back solutions that their current brokers never brought. or that they've never seen. It's putting that one cohesive message together where we're talking foundation, walls, and roof, and we're bringing in the Jack and Jill, and we're bringing in the DCP. It's just bringing everything collectively together. I feel it's a lot easier to schedule appointments nowadays too, because I have those 8 secrets and I have that baseline.
It's interesting. Like I'll tell you all of y'all something that Becky knows, and I don't think she'll mind me sharing this, but man, a couple of years ago, it was always the language of, I'm just the Aflac rep. Like you hear yourself sometimes saying, I'm just the Aflac rep. And now I'm gonna tell you something. Freaking Becky and Jamie walk into a group and they're like, I'm the broker. Like they're just their whole attitude and persona and swagger has changed and evolved. And I don't think it's a big surprise that if you have followed me for a little while, you've heard something else that I talk about all the time, which is money follows what?
Value.
Value, of course.
Money follows value all the
Value.
time.
Yeah.
And
Heard
I've
you
talked
say that
about
all
this
the
on quite a
time.
few of the YouTube videos, but if you're not happy with where you're at financially, you have only two places to look. Either you're not actually working, you're lying to yourself, that's possible, or you're not providing enough value. So like your two choices are get to work and or provide more
Value.
value. Chelsea, feel free to add anything you want to that mindset question, but I'm going to throw another question at you as well. If you had to start completely over, because you basically did it just a little while ago, what did your first 30 days look like? And what would you tell people is the most important thing that you did in your business in the first 30 days?
The first 30 days when starting over is taking a good self-reflection. Who are individuals that you have worked closely with, finding those people who are familiar with you, trust you, and maybe you worked with either in an insurance background before and or in your past career paths, because this is something where it's easy for you to walk in and get that handshake and grow off of that book because they're already familiar. So focusing there in that first 30 days and then continuing that process, we call that our flywheel. And that is where you're going to continue moving those warm relationships because those people who value you and the value you bring to them, you get to serve them and then you'll ask for that referral. And you can continue growing that alongside that cold calling that you'll do. That is the fastest, easiest way to catapult your business while also being intentional with your cold calling because the worms will run out.
Wendy, I am positive with where you're at in your business now, you never have a bad day and you never have a deal go south and a client never tells you to get lost. Like it's all sunshine and rainbows for you. But if you were to have a bad day, what do you do on a bad day? Even when you're successful, even when you're cashing a 6-figure check, what do you do?
Well, I definitely get grateful because if I looked at 2 years ago and today, like my best day was not as good as my worst day is now. And what I'm saying is like, I have so many tools. I have such a great community. I have great clients. I don't go looking for a heartbeat and a social security number so that I can pay my rent. I think you have bad days when you are needing to grow. So I just take that as a lesson. And I feel like you decide how bad your day is going to be and how long it's going to last. So for me, it's just knowing how grateful I am for the community that I'm in, for the leadership that I have, and for all the opportunities. Because if you don't have opportunities, you aren't looking very hard.
I mean, I love that. I love that answer of, man, I focus on gratitude. I think about where I was just 2 years ago and where I'm at today. But what else do you do? Like, what's a tactical, practical? I could execute that today. How do you practice gratitude?
Well, I have 2 cards sitting on my desk right here. I like to let people know why I'm grateful for them. And I want to make sure that I'm sharing that because I think that's gotten lost in social media, in all the things. I think that gets really lost. And I like to also do that with my clients. And I feel like that's where my book of business grows a lot is being super grateful because they don't have to work with me. They can work with any other person they wanted to, but they have decided to work with me.
I love that. Reaching out and telling someone else, even though my day sucks, I'm thankful for you.
Absolutely.
Y'all, there's a hidden superpower. And when you choose to stop bitching and moaning and complaining and whining about how bad my day is and I lost my account and whatever other stupid whiny stuff that we put ourselves through, and we shift that energy, we shift that focus off of us and onto someone else. When we move off of our own problems, our own trials, and our own issues, and instead choose to take that same energy and reach out to someone else and say, I'm grateful for you, I'm thankful for you, you matter because. There is no way, 0% chance on God's green earth that that does not at least speak into someone else's life and get you to stop wallowing in your own pity. Secret superpower. That was so good, Wendy. Thank you for sharing that. Chelsea, I'm coming to you with the same question. You're one of the extremely successful agents over or brokers over at BenDoc, but you still have bad days. They happen.
Oh
Your
yeah.
poor little baby boy was just in the hospital last week while you were tied up at a conference. How do you stay positive and what do you do when you have a bad day?
So bad days, they happen. I'm definitely not immune to them. I find a lot of strength in understanding that there are just some things you can't control, but you can control how you act in the situation. And as I say that, I'm also not perfect in that standpoint because we are all allowed to have complete bad days where we have to really hyper focus or lean on that human being that is that human for us. So at a conference, little guy is admitted to, not admitted, but teetering on the edges of getting admitted in the hospital. Myself ending everything and rushing home will not change how they're going to treat him. So I chose to have a conversation with my spouse and address that. So in business, do what you can control, focus on that. And we made that decision based off what was best, and everything came together. Now in business, you can't control your competition that walks in that door. You can't control a new owner. You can't control that everything's yes and something shifted. But you can control how you handle that situation to rise above everything that's burning on the inside of you to continue to deliver excellence even when you want to scream and stomp your feet. More times than not, in the handful of clients that were enticed for a sparkly object and left me have come back. And that is because we focus on that foundation and protecting and building off that. We focus on taking care of that client to the best of our ability. Now, I'm not saying when I get off that phone, I don't take a 15-minute stomp my feet, throw a fit. But the competitive nature within me is, all right, I'll give myself my 15-minute pity party. I'm going to get a snack, take a quick walk. But now I'm going to go find two people who value me for the service that I provide to them, who value what we bring to the table. And as long as I can keep myself on that model, man, the things I can't control that come at me are actually bringing better things in because I don't sit and dwell the whole day about the one thing that fell away. Find that next, bring that in. So just focusing on it's okay to give yourself 15 minutes. It is not okay to give yourself the day. There are more clients, work from abundance, be focused.
Beautiful.
I'll just add real quick, just to summarize it up. I would say when I'm having a bad day, my first thing is to reach out to other people on our team. We're such a like-minded group of individuals. It's good and bad when you work with your husband. If you both have a bad day, that's not so good. We don't want to be around each other. If we're both having a good day, life is great, but obviously we can pull the other one up. But I can't tell you how many times I've just reached out, let's say to Wendy, like, I'm coming across this struggle. Like, can you give me some feedback? What should I do? We have such an amazing group of brokers on our team that if you can't figure it out, somebody on leadership, reach out to Brian, reach out to Zach, Chelsea, whoever, they're going to probably have experienced it in the past and they're probably going to be able to help you and give you some great advice. And I know I remember Zach in the past saying, some days you need ninja class, but some days ninja class needs you. So if you're on a high, go get your butt at ninja class. You're probably going to be able to inspire and motivate others. If you're having a tough day, guess what? Go there because you're the one that probably needs the class. So our group is pretty amazing. Zach said we just spent the last 3-4 days in Green Bay at Lambeau, and it's all gratitude, abundance, and excellence. And you'll hear that time and time and time again.
I don't know if anybody else is picking up on this, but I'm hearing a recurring theme from everything these ladies are talking about so far really boils down to mindset. How I choose to see the situation, how I choose to respond to the situation, how long I allow myself to wallow in whatever the situation is. I'm hearing so much from each one of them in their own words, but what I'm hearing is I can either let the day attack me or I can attack the day. Maybe I am oversimplifying that, but I'm loving these answers. I think they're phenomenal. I'm excited about this one. People want to know, what are your habits, or I think the way we would phrase it internally is, what is a non-negotiable or a habit that you've developed that nobody gets to take from you? How does that feed into your success?
So being the mom, I'm the baby of Bendoc, if anyone's wondering. So I have littles at home, or a little at home. So I'm a business owner and I try to do it all. One of my non-negotiables is I end my work day by anywhere between 4:15 and 4:30 every day. And until that little man goes to bed, that phone is not to be touched. My office door is closed. I do not reply to emails because I am a mom during that time. And then if something is on a fire and I choose to go back to work after he's in bed, I can do that. But that is how I keep a very healthy, because I came before this journey at Dog from a very unhealthy environment where I work, and it came at the cost of family and friends. So I am the most successful I've ever been, and I don't work between 4:15 and 7 p.m. I don't work weekends. So one of my non-negotiables is a healthy work-life balance, and it's proving to be very profitable because I am making more than I've ever made.
That's amazing, Chelsea. That one fires me up, lights my heart on fire. Wendy, what about you? What's a non-negotiable for you?
Well, I thought about this a lot as far as work goes and my life goes. One thing that's always been a non-negotiable for me, and this has been for years, is my budget every quarter and annually. I look at it both ways. My budget always has money in it for training and coaching. And I feel like as soon as I started doing that, and that's been probably 4 or 5 years ago, that I got a professional coach, because you know what? We all drag shit with us from our past. And I definitely did. And so I had to learn how to love myself, because I might be at some point the only one that does love me. So you have to learn those things. And I have only been as strong as the things that are dragging me down my whole life. I was in survival mode my entire life. Going into, and the answer to this question is, it is not negotiable in any way, shape, or form not to have money in my budget to go to the trainings like Green Bay, like all the ones that we do in Bendoc, but also for my personal coaching. I have a personal coach that works with me on my fitness and everything else in my life. And I talk to him every 2 weeks. And it doesn't matter where I'm at. If I'm on vacation, I still talk to him for an hour every 2 weeks so I can stay on track.
Yeah, guys, I would recommend y'all not listen to anything Wendy said, because she's only the number one broker in all of Bendoc, so she doesn't know what she's talking about. Just absolutely crushing it. It's like Wendy is the walking, living, breathing epitome of what you feed yourself, you become. And she chooses to feed herself mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, really good things. And watching the metamorphosis, which, I get the luxury of getting to meet these people at the beginning, or at the beginning of at least their sales ninja journey, and where they're at today. And Wendy, holy freaking crap, you have turned into quite the beautiful butterfly. So congratulations on the hard work you have been doing.
Well, I just want to add to that, you guys, I cried for the first 3 years. I mean, really, in this journey.
We've talked a lot this morning about the mindset stuff, and that really, and I want y'all to hear this as we make a transition now, you can practice the 8 secrets till the cows come home. You could learn them and memorize them inside and out. You could be the hardest core believer in their transformational ability for your business. And if you have a sucky mindset, you are costing yourself hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. It is mindset plus skill set. And if you get those two to meet each other, if you can get your mindset and your skill set to meet each other, woo, baby, it's hot. But one without the other will never be as powerful as they are together. So I'm going to switch gears on you real quick. And I want to ask y'all ladies some questions, more some kind of the tactical, some of the skill set style questions here. First one, where do you generate leads? How the heck do you find leads?
Again, follow the 8 secrets that Zach teaches. I will say probably one of the most important secrets that I was not implementing prior was the value gap meeting. And I still need to be reminded to be consistent on the value gap. But once you close a case and you move forward, make sure you don't forget to do the value gap. And remember, you're framing it all the way back to the handshake, that if I kick it out of the park for you, I'm going to ask for some referrals because you're going to love what I'm going to share with you. So at the end of the day, I'm going to measure, what was the value I provided you? You're reminding them through the entire process that once you get to the end, we're going to measure the value. That's a big way, I think, of filling our pipeline. I don't think anybody loves cold calling, but in the beginning, in these first 30 or 60 days, you have to fill that pipeline. You have to, and then make that CRM work for you. I'd say focus on the flywheel, focus on the value gap, and don't forget about those important secrets.
Wow. Chelsea, where do you find leads?
When you're getting started and you're newer in your business, yeah, ask each of those employees you just enrolled. They might have a spouse that owns a company. They might have a dad or mom or grandpa. So don't leave it on the table. It's a quick ask. When you helped with a claim, touch them. The value gaps and the new hires. Owning your block of business is one I always did. And of course, something works great. You always forget to keep doing it, right? And when I'm doing that value gap meeting, I can touch and be very intentional with my ask on those referrals. Next level, lead generation. I do have a particular niche. So I have an association I work very, very tightly with that when I started, I was being very intentional with one location asking for referrals, which then led into a huge referral base. But touching on that, guys, when your community has a trade show, you might have a whatever kind of trade show. Go attend the trade show. I'm not saying go put up a booth and spend your money as a new agent or getting restarted. I'm saying literally go talk, shake hands, get cards, have your elevator pitch, and really hone in on just growing that familiar with a entire room full of business owners. And it costs you what, $5 to get in? Be intentional with that time. That's huge. And then other things within your community, little things that don't cost a lot of money but can drive a lot of familiarity with the value you bring and the people you serve, is go to chamber events. So if they're having a ice cream social or things like that, that it does not have high cost, but you have high traffic. Give yourself that opportunity to invest in those easy items.
Genius. Go to where your avatar is already gathered. Man, we love to overcomplicate this business. Beautiful, beautiful advice, Chelsea. Wendy, how do you find leads?
Leads are everywhere, but I think in the beginning, my first 30 days, I was challenged like, you need to have 250 in your pipeline. And that to me was like, oh, bring it. Like numbers are my thing. So I'm like just throwing those in there. But then you actually have to nurture them. So that's the second part. And I can't say that I've always been great about nurturing. I get them, I can slam them in there and then I have to do the work. So just taking the opportunity. Leads are everywhere. Just quit passing them by.
Golly, that's good. Brian, I've got a question for you as you kind of take a minute or two to introduce yourself, and then I'm going to roll right into a question or two for you.
I've been with insurance for 25 years. I was with Aflac as a single carrier for most of that journey. I don't have many of the complaints or challenges that a lot of people had. I had some really great leaders. I had some fantastic people around me, similar to what Wendy and Chelsea and Becky said. I also invested in myself. Like I read a lot of books. That was the advice that my first district gave me. He said, don't limit your success based on what I can teach you because I'm on my way out and you're on your way in. He's like, find some books on CD or tape or just fill your brain with knowledge. And I took that literally and seriously. And man, it's been a fantastic ride to the point where as I was investing in myself, I invested in Zach's 8 Secrets. I was doing pretty well without him, but I was curious and I absolutely aligned with the 8 Secrets and the mindset of it all and the concept, and really invested considerable time following the direction from the district that I had back in the day, which was fill your mind with stuff and learn from other people. And so I've learned the 8 Secrets, and now working with Zach and the Benefit Doctor, my role is to help our brokers with the framework of the 8 Secrets, sure, but really help them with their mindset, their skill set, their work, problem solve through things.
I'm glad you're here, my friend. Brian, here's my one question for you.
Sure.
You have been in a leadership position in the insurance industry forever, and now you've been as director of coaching and producer development over here at BenDoc for the last couple of years. In all of your combined experience, for those that are on the call, what would you say are the tangible takeaway things that they can identify that separate those who crush it. And I don't even want to talk about the people who fail. We already know what causes people to fail. I want to talk about the people who crush it from the people who just, they're not going bankrupt, but they're not living their dreams either.
What first comes to mind, it's, man, commitment and dedication versus feelings. And here's exactly what I mean by that. Like today, I don't make any decisions on what my day is going to look like. I already decided that yesterday. And now I'm just following that plan. So when I wake up and I don't feel so good, I don't want to go and work out. I don't want to do the thing that I've already committed to my yesterday self to do. It's a non-negotiable. I just do it anyway, right? And that I feel like is the difference that I've seen in the hugely successful people versus the pretty successful people. It's they've committed to do something and then they do it. So what I heard with Wendy and Becky and Chelsea when they have a bad day is they keep moving forward with their day. Like they do it in a lot of different ways, but they follow the commitment that they already made to themselves and they follow through. I think that's the biggest thing. It's not the commitment that we make to others that drives people towards success. It's the commitments that they make to themselves and that they follow through on every single day. That's a big thing.
Man, that is so good. Holy smoke, so good. All right, let's open this thing up. Let's do some just general Q&A. So let's go. All right, Nick.
All right, for the Barcelona 5, when it comes to you and you create your flywheel, what is the most key aspect when it comes to your flywheel? Having a six-figure income to maintain that with your flywheel. And you personally, how do you maintain your flywheel at that magnitude?
I'll just heavily reiterate what I just talked about a little bit ago. Don't forget the value gap. And if you did, it's not the end of the world. It's not like there's only one window of opportunity. As I mentioned, even if you don't, you should be, but even if you don't do it at that post-enrollment value gap meeting, ask, when you come in a month to verify deductions, elections, when you come in 2 months, when you have mid-year strategy, the key is always ask. Never stop asking, because let's be real, if you don't ask, it's not going to happen. But just build it into your sequence of what you're doing. Like I said, if you frame it at the very beginning of your initial conversation with that decision maker, and then you keep hitting on it on all the points throughout the process that gets you to the end, you have to just constantly be asking. Otherwise, the flywheel stops, as we all know.
Nick, I'm gonna add to that. For those of us that are in that coaching capacity and we watch everyone do everything, the difference in the flywheels that are actually spinning under their own weight and those that are constantly pushing, trying to get the damn thing to spin, the people who got it spinning, they execute 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on every account every time. And when you do that imperfectly, you will get your flywheel to spin imperfectly. It would be like if you looked at the gears on a timing chain or the gears on the flywheel and you take secret 7 completely out because you didn't do it. Well, it's still going to spin, but it's going to go clunk, clunk, and it's going to steal some of the momentum that flywheel should have had. You robbed yourself because you didn't take that account through all 8 secrets. Like I don't want to oversimplify, but I sure as hell am not going to overcomplicate it. Every account, every time, all 8 secrets, shut up and do it. Carrie, you got your hand up.
Yes. So I have 2 questions actually, real quick. First is, so from moving from carrier rep to broker, how long did it take you to learn all the minutia of the medical and all that? What was your kind of like from the bottom ground up? How long did it take you to get in to do all that? Because my plate's pretty full already. That was my first question. And the second question is, do you mainly do phone call prospecting and doing that, through your follow-up and things like that? Or is it a lot of walking indoors as well? How does that look?
Ooh, I'm all over this. Okay. So, little background on it is I was a carrier rep, Aflac rep, and then 1 year later, I went out and sought a firm to become a broker with. Got in there, and everything you just said, like how long does it take to figure this out, and what am I doing, and the ins and the outs, and it's confusing and more on my plate. That is exactly what I went through. It was a lot of battling and self-education, and when I started looking for, gosh, there's got to be a better way. There are people who are good at what they do, and the experience from moving from that firm and completely investing myself in the Ben Doc firm, you fall back on your team. So we're all working together in unison to, you know what's best for your client and what you're after. So you don't need to know everything. That's your niche. You are client facing. Then you have the entire, we call them our back office support. We have those, and then we have our individuals who are building our policies in the health, because what you're bringing to the table, they're now hyper helping you understand what your options are and then walking you through it before you even get to your client. Meaning it is not more on your plate. It is the most amazing place to be in because you get to go do what you do. But it's no different than what you've always done with your client in the carrier world. But now you're just talking health instead of carrier because of all the human beings that are put in place already to support you. Here's what they told me to do. Now the brains will do all the work in the back. Bring it back to you. You guys walk through it. There are people here that help with all of that.
Then what's your time frame? Like if you're like don't know anything about the medical part to jumping into BinDoc, then going out and talking to your existing clients about medical, how long does that take?
I want to answer the question as succinctly as I can, Carrie. How long does it take you to get a 9 or a 10 from your customer and their experience with you, Carrie Solomon, right
You're
now,
asking
today?
me. Well, I haven't asked that question, so I don't know yet because I have not asked that question.
So there's the answer to your question. I don't either because you haven't asked the question. But my guess is that if you had relationships so strong and you've delivered such value in your current capacity that they were to rank you an 8, 9, or a 10, it is no different. It's like, hey, how would you like me to create this experience for you on the entire benefits package? It's just
That's
another type of referral. If you go and
okay.
study Secret 7 and Secret 8, you're going to go, oh my gosh. It's me picking up BORs is the natural byproduct of all the work I'm already doing for them. Maybe I should not complicate the business. Maybe I should not try to figure everything out. Maybe I should not try to figure out how to study 847 products from 2,318 different carriers, because if you do that, you will fail. And that is what the vast majority of carrier reps trying to learn how to become brokers are doing right now. Most people are making the mistake that believing if I get more logos and more carriers and more business cards, I will open more groups and write more business. That is not true. All you will really do is complicate the hell out of your business and end up doing nothing. So I think that Chelsea just did a beautiful job succinctly summarizing. It's not about what I know. It's about who I know. Let that sink in. All right. So I'm going to ask Brian to just send us out of here with a word both of encouragement and what you can do to continue to move your business forward, regardless if you're a carrier rep right now or a broker right now, or you've got dreams or ideas or hopes or ambitions of being potentially a broker or something in the future. I don't know. And at this moment right now, I don't really care. I care about you executing the fundamentals that you have access today that are costing you a grand total of this many dollars to learn. So Brian, send us out of here.
I'll say this, all of you on the call right now are already doing something that most people won't do. And that's joining a webinar, reaching out, trying to grow your mind, your skill set, all the things, right? You are making an effort to be curious and to gain knowledge. So I would tell you to hold on to that. And then as far as a tactical thing, exactly what everybody has articulated today and what Zach just said. The 8 secrets are free online, and you can absolutely watch them while you're going for a run or driving in your car. But I would tell you to, in addition to that, watch it while you're sitting at your computer, while you're sitting at your desk, while you've got the workbook out, and while you can be laser focused on the content and the information so that you can make notes on curiosity and say, I don't understand this. Here's my question around this. Write that down in your notes. Write that down somewhere. Post that on the YouTube channel. For those of you who are part of Sales Ninja Insiders, bring that to the Facebook group. So my congratulations to you is for being different than everybody else and by making an effort by coming to things like this and by watching those videos. And my challenge to you tactically was be purposeful. Have intent when you watch the videos so that you have a better opportunity to learn from the videos.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's not more complicated than that right there. If you enjoyed this content and you enjoy hanging out with us, if you're not part of the Sales Ninja Insiders, and I recognize a bunch of you on this call are, but for those of you that are not part of the Sales Ninja Insiders, go today to freeninjatraining.com, download the workbook for free, after you've downloaded that workbook to the 8 secrets that we have kept. If you don't know what I'm talking about on the 8 secrets, like where are you living under a rock? It's on YouTube. It's free. Download the workbook. It's a $4,000 course that I have given away. If you're not consuming that content, you're not serious about changing your career. So I'll just put that out there. Dig into that. Get into the Sales Ninja Insiders. We meet together with our insiders every week. Brian and I are coaching them and working with them and kicking their ass. But if you want to grow, the Sales Ninja Insiders is the place to grow. And I don't care what logo you represent or what business card you have, you belong at the Sales Ninja Insiders. So get over there today, join in, and I hope to see all of you as insiders with me in the next week. That being said, for ninjatraining.com, we'll get you there. Adios. Hope this was a lot of fun. See you guys later. Bye-bye, everybody.